The gospel lesson is from John 12, verses 1 through 8. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with this fragrance of the perfume. But one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, I knew I was going to blow that one, who was later to betray him, objected. Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it. Leave her alone, Jesus replied. It was intended that she should save this perfume for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me.
I wanted us to see another perspective on this very scene. This perspective from the opera Jesus Christ Superstar. Watch this and watch how Mary and Judas and Jesus interact in this triangle for love.
Try not to get worried, try not to turn on to problems that upset you. Oh, don't you know everything's alright? Yes, everything's fine. And we want you to sleep well tonight. Let the world turn without you tonight. If we try, we'll get by, so forget all about us tonight. It's alright, yes, everything's alright, yes. Sleep and I shall soothe you, calm you, and anoint you, myrrh for your hot forehead. Oh, then you'll feel everything's alright, yes, everything's fine. And it's cool and the ointment sweet for the fire in your head and feet. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight. It's alright, yes, everything's alright, yes. Woman, your fine ointment, brand new and expensive, could have been for the poor. Why has it been wasted? We could have raised maybe 300 silver pieces or more. People who are hungry, people who are starving matter more than your feet and hands. To get worried, try not to turn on to problems that upset you. Oh, don't you know everything's alright? Yes, everything's fine. And we want you to sleep well tonight. Let the world turn without you tonight. If we try, we'll get by, so forget all about us tonight. Everything's alright, yes. Surely you're not saying we have the resources to save the poor from their lot. There will be poor always, pathetically struggling. Look at the good things you've got. Think while you still have me. Move while you still see me. You'll be lost
and you'll be so sorry when I'm gone.
Sleep and I shall soothe you, calm you and anoint you more for your heart forehead. Oh, then you feel everything's alright, yes, everything's fine, and it's cool and the ointment sweet for the fire in your head and feet. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight. Close your eyes and relax. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight. Close your eyes and relax. Think of nothing tonight. Think of nothing.
Did you see it? Judas wasn't talking about perfume. He was using waste as an argument. But the issue was something else. Did you see? Because both Mary and Judas, they love Jesus. And Judas sees her love as a threat. Like there's not enough love to go around. Both of them sing at one point or another in the opera, I don't know how to love him. They're kind of two sides of a coin. Whereas Mary is just caught up in caring and trying to keep everybody calm. Judas is upset, and he's thinking in terms of scarcity. We've been taught all our lives that there's only so much stuff to go around. And there certainly was scarcity in Jesus' day because Caesar owned everything. He had more wealth than everybody combined, and most everybody had nothing, and Jesus had absolutely nothing. Scarcity thinking leads to the poverty of the world. There's only so much to go around. But the day of scarcity thinking is almost over. And we've discovered because of something like this. In 1969, Honeywell, actually it was a Neiman Marcus catalog, they put out an item called the Honeywell Kitchen Computer. And on this computer, little wifey could keep track of her recipes and her menus and balance her checkbook. That's about all these techie guys could think of for the computer. And, it cost $10,000. That'd be $64,000 today. In fact, that little apron she's wearing was $48. It was $24. It'd be $75 today. That's Neiman Marcus. If you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. But that money included 2 weeks of training in programming. So, if she could cook, she could only cook as well as Honeywell computes. What a bunch of jerks. That money, $64,000 today, would have given her also 2 weeks of program training where she would learn how to flip the switches and light the lights and set up her kitchen computer. And yes, that's the keyboard. It was nothing but switches and buttons. And boy, they were hoping for... Not one of these was sold. The ad didn't tell you that there was a refrigerator-sized mini mainframe that had to be hidden someplace, and you needed a printer and all kinds of things with it, plus all of the other things. It didn't sell. The problem was scarcity. In 1969, electronics were expensive. Now, a transistor only cost 78 cents. That's not much. But to store 1 bit of information. That's an on or an off switch. It takes 42 transistors. And there's 8 bits to a character, a text character. So that would be $256 for every single character of information inside that computer. It was hugely expensive. And the techie guys were all guys, and they didn't know what to do with it. But in 1973, a fellow by the name of Alan Kay, worked for the Xerox Research Center, came up with a crazy idea. He said, well, let's waste memory. Let's waste processing power. Let's put little characters on the screen that you can use a mouse. They had just invented the mouse. They can use a mouse to point to and click it to start a program. Instead of typing in all these lines, you've seen them on the movies, they type this long line of characters to get a program going. All you had to do was click a mouse. He invented that in 1973 on the Alto computer from Xerox. Those didn't sell very well either because they were still hugely expensive, but the idea was there. Because according to Moore's law, this is the guy who started Intel, and he said that every year or so, the amount of memory or the speed of computing will double every year or so. And so it's coming down fast, exponentially fast, or it's going up fast, exponentially fast. And what we can do today is sheer abundance of computing power. Here's kind of a history of computers. I worked it out. This little phone cost me $49, plus a 2-year contract, of course. It would have cost about $15 in 1969. Of course, you couldn't get it in 1969 because this has more power than that kitchen computer had. It's unbelievable. Because we have abundance. When it comes to information, data, music, video, things that can be done in bits and bytes. They have become essentially free, and it's changing how everything goes. A number of years ago, I used to get emails from my email provider saying, clean out your box, clean out your mailbox, because you don't have enough room. Don't have enough room. Well, today, Google gives you 1 gigabyte, that is 1,000 megabytes, that is 1 million kilobytes, that is 1 billion bytes, characters, of memory in your Gmail account. My Commodore 64, my favorite computer, had 65,536 bytes in it. That was all it had. Now that's what they use to make one icon on your screen. You see? It's abundant, it's free. And that's the way it is with love. The abundance of memory, of computing power, means that every child in the world could have a laptop. This is 1 laptop per child. It's a movement to get laptops in the hands of the kids. These things are you crank them to make power, to power them. They work everywhere. They put them into a community. They put up communications, connections, Wi-Fi, and the kids are connected to the world. Do you know how much of poverty comes from ignorance? Just plain not having information, not knowing how to think. This is a major motion in the right direction because of abundance. We don't have to keep the poor with us always, pathetically struggling. The world is changing. The world has changed. Here are the rules, or the way that scarcity and abundance looks. The rule says that in scarcity, everything is forbidden that is not permitted. Now that was the way it was with Hammurabi's code of the ancient Middle East. It laid out everything that was forbidden, and if it wasn't on there, it was probably forbidden unless it was permitted. The Ten Commandments are a list of just 9 things that are forbidden and one that is strongly encouraged, and everything else is permitted. Social model, paternalism. Jesus lived in a world of paternalism, but you notice that Jesus had men and women in his company. And Mary, the one in our scripture who brought the precious perfume, had sat at Jesus' feet with the men. She had not been the little wifey cooking. She was listening to Jesus, and Jesus defended her because his kingdom of God was egalitarian. Everybody is equal in the eyes of the Creator. Decision process, top down. That's how Jesus was killed, by top-down thinking. Whereas his movement was made up of low-life, beggars, tax collectors, prostitutes, the poor, and a few enlightened gentry who joined later. Organizational structure, command and control, that's what it was all about. And it always is about that in a scarcity. But in abundance, you don't have to control everything. All you have to do is motivate like Jesus did. He only gave a couple rules, and most of them involved one word. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. Love each other as I've loved you. Love your enemy. These are my commandments. I'm motivating you to live in a new world, not of scarcity where you have to control everything, but in the abundance of love, where the goodness of God will reign upon your life. Here's a scarcity, a waste issue. When you run a piece of paper through the copying machine, sometimes when you run a thing through the copying machine, sometimes you get 2 sheets of paper stuck together. Well, that one paper has nothing on it, so you put it back in the machine, right? Except that it's been through the machine, it's been changed by the tremendous heat that sets the toner, and it will jam. And that little piece of paper cost you 15 minutes getting it unjammed. Or it broke something in the process of getting jammed, and you had to call a technician. Now, that little piece of paper was only a penny. Your time was a couple bucks. And that technician cost you $65 to come in and fix it. Throw away the single piece of paper. Waste it. And that's the same way with love. It is not something to hold to yourself. We are to waste it, to give it away, to spread it everywhere. Judas did not understand this. He thought there was only so much love, and Jesus might love Mary or Jesus might love him. And how many of you felt that way about your siblings and your parents' love? How many of you watched Once Upon a Time? I'm on a different world than y'all. I won't tell you the whole story, but in the last episode, we watch it on Hulu when we get around to it. The last episode, the Queen Mother, Cora, revealed that she had married the prince back when she was young, because not for love, but for revenge. And in order to get that revenge, in order to get the power she needed to protect herself and her daughter, she magically took her heart out and put it in a little box so she would not be able to love. The only way she could get that kind of power that she wanted was not to stop and love. And that's the way it is. Power and love are mutually exclusive. Let me say that again. Power and love are mutually exclusive. Power wants to get someone else to love you, or at least get them to do what you say, or at the very least get them to leave you alone. That's what power is all about. And love is exactly the opposite. Love is what gives us life. That's it. That's Judas. We don't know why Judas did what Judas did. We don't even know if it was Judas. But somebody betrayed Jesus for all the wrong reasons. He betrayed for power, not for love. Love is like a penny. If you hold it tight, you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. Now that's abundance.